Welcome, listeners, to another deep dive. Today, we're tackling a topic that silently impacts countless lives, especially, if you're over 60. We're talking about prostate health, and specifically those common, often overlooked, everyday actions that can surprisingly lead to an enlarged prostate. You might recognize the symptoms: frequent urination, maybe trouble starting or stopping your stream, or even those, frustrating nighttime trips to the bathroom.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's not always just about aging, right? Our mission here really is to unpack the truth about what you might be doing every single day that could, be making things worse without you realizing it. We're going to reveal 10 everyday habits that can silently contribute to an enlarged prostate, giving you the knowledge, the tools, hopefully, to protect your health naturally, safely.
And we're going to count them down, building up to the number one habit that our sources identify as, perhaps the most significant factor. So get ready. This information really could change your daily comfort, your long-term well-being. Okay, let's kick things off. Number 10. It seems incredibly basic: not drinking enough water. I know many people, especially seniors, might even deliberately reduce fluid intake, to avoid those bathroom trips, particularly at night. But what's the actual impact?
Well, it's a common idea, but maybe a misconception, that less water means fewer bathroom trips. But it's not quite that simple. See, chronic dehydration forces your kidneys to work harder. They have to filter this highly concentrated urine. And this denser urine can actually contain higher levels of irritating compounds. These directly stress the bladder lining and also the prostate gland itself as the urine passes through. This constant irritation, over time, it leads to inflammation. And inflammation is a really key contributor to prostate enlargement.
Okay, so it's not just about less fluid, but the concentration of that fluid causing irritation. Interesting. So what's the simple fix here then?
Exactly. And the fix is, thankfully, quite simple. It's about consistency. Drink water throughout the day, small, regular amounts, even if you don't feel particularly thirsty. Thirst isn't always the best indicator, especially as we age. Aim for clear or light yellow urine. That's your visual cue for proper hydration. It helps keep your bladder calm, reducing that pressure on the prostate.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, habit number 9. Moving from what we put in our bodies to how we position them. You might love your favorite comfy recliner, right? But maybe too much sitting could be harming your prostate in ways you don't expect. How does that play a role?
Yeah, this one catches people by surprise. Spending extended periods seated, like hours at a desk or in that recliner, puts constant direct pressure on your pelvic area. This can significantly reduce blood flow to your lower body, and that includes the prostate. Poor circulation often leads to chronic inflammation down there. What's more, if those pelvic floor muscles aren't active, they can weaken. And that makes it harder to fully empty your bladder when you go.
Okay, so it's the pressure and the lack of muscle use.
Exactly. And that stagnant residual urine left behind. Well, it becomes a potential breeding ground for irritation, bacteria maybe, and can further contribute to prostate swelling.
Right, so it's not just about comfort, it's actual physical strain and potential for irritation. What's the practical advice then for someone with a sedentary job or who just enjoys relaxing?
It's really about breaking up those long sitting spells. It doesn't have to be intense, just standing up every 30 minutes or so, walk around for a minute or two, maybe do some gentle stretches while you're standing. These small movements, they help restore healthy blood flow pretty quickly and relieve that consistent pressure. It makes a surprising difference.
Simple enough. All right, let's shift gears. Habit number 8, something many of us rely on daily: caffeine. Can our morning coffee or maybe that afternoon tea or soda, can it really be a problem for the prostate?
It certainly can be, yes.
Yeah.
Caffeine is a known diuretic. That means it ramps up urine production, makes your bladder work harder, more frequently, but it does more than that. It can also cause the bladder muscles themselves to contract more often. That leads to that feeling of urgency, needing to go right now. And here's something crucial. Caffeine can also tighten the muscles right at the bladder neck, the exit point.
Oh, okay, so that makes it harder to...
Exactly. Harder to empty your bladder completely, so you leave more urine behind, which again strains the prostate, contributes to that inflammation, that discomfort.
So it's a double whammy: more urine production and difficulty emptying fully. What's the sweet spot for caffeine then? Okay.
Moderation is definitely the key word here. Generally, one small cup of regular coffee in the morning is usually fine for most men, but multiple strong coffees or lots of black tea, energy drinks, that caffeine load adds up quickly. Maybe consider switching to decaf or perhaps herbal teas after that first cup. That can significantly reduce the irritation for both your bladder and your prostate.
Good advice. Okay, number 7. Let's talk food. We all love flavorful meals, right? But some common ingredients might be quietly irritating your prostate. What should we be mindful of?
Well, spicy ingredients for one, things like chili peppers, hot sauces, they can directly increase inflammation throughout the body. And that definitely includes the prostate gland, especially if it's already a bit enlarged or sensitive. But maybe the bigger culprit, day to day, lies in processed foods. Things that come in packages, ready meals.
Well, convenience stuff.
The convenience stuff, exactly. They're often packed with preservatives, artificial flavors, loads of sodium, unhealthy fats. All of these things silently damage health over time. High salt intake, for instance, leads to water retention. That puts increased pressure on the entire urinary system. And importantly, these foods can also disrupt your hormonal balance, those crucial chemical messengers, particularly testosterone levels, which directly affect prostate size.
Wow, it sounds like a lot of what's easy and quick is also potentially problematic long-term. What should we aim for instead then?
Yeah, it's about shifting the focus. Aim for natural anti-inflammatory foods. Think leafy greens like spinach or kale, a variety of colorful berries, healthy fats like those in avocados, nuts, olive oil. Prioritize fresh, whole ingredients over those packaged meals whenever you can. It's really about nourishing your body, not just filling it up quickly.
Makes sense. Okay, habit number 6. This is one almost everyone is guilty of at some point. Holding your urine for too long. You're busy, or a restroom is inconvenient right then. What's the real impact if this becomes a regular thing?
Oh, it has a definite impact. When you frequently hold urine for extended periods, your bladder stretches. It strains significantly. And that creates extra pressure directly on the prostate, which, remember, sits right below the bladder. Over time, this constant strain can lead to irritation and swelling of the prostate tissue. And particularly for seniors whose bladder muscles might already be weakening a bit with age, holding urine can also lead to incomplete emptying.
There's that incomplete emptying connection again.
Yes. And that leftover stagnant urine, it's just a perfect environment for bacteria to potentially multiply, leading to inflammation, maybe even infection, which can certainly contribute to enlarging the gland.
That's a powerful connection. I hadn't fully considered holding it, leading to incomplete emptying. So what's the straightforward advice here? It sounds obvious, but...
It is straightforward, but easy to ignore. Simply listen to your body's signals. Don't delay those bathroom trips unnecessarily. This seemingly small change, just going when you need to go, can make a significant difference. It reduces prostate strain, improves overall bladder health, and as a nice bonus, it can even help you reduce those disruptive nighttime trips to the bathroom, leading to better sleep.
Good point. Okay, number 5. Smoking or even inhaling secondhand smoke. We all know smoking is bad for, well, everything, lungs, heart. But I'm curious, how does it specifically target the prostate? That link might not be immediately obvious to listeners. Are there particular pathways of damage?
That's a great question, because the link isn't always intuitive. The chemicals in cigarette smoke are systemic, meaning they travel throughout your body. They reduce overall blood flow, which we know is bad for the prostate. They increase inflammation body-wide. And they can directly damage the delicate tissues within the prostate itself. Smoking also dramatically increases oxidative stress. You could think of that like cellular rusting. It impairs your body's natural repair mechanisms, so you get this vicious cycle: inflammation, damage, and impaired healing. This significantly increases the risk of prostate enlargement and even raises the risk of developing prostate cancer.
Wow. And this applies even more as we age.
Yes, for older adults, the cumulative damage from years of smoking or even exposure just accelerates faster. And crucially, don't discount secondhand smoke. It carries many of the same harmful effects.
That's a powerful connection, systemic damage. So for anyone listening who still smokes, what's the most impactful step?
Well, the most important step, without a doubt, for both prostate and overall health, is to talk to your doctor about quitting. Seriously explore the options. There are support tools, nicotine replacements, medications, therapies. Find what works for you. And if you've never smoked, fantastic. Just make sure you avoid exposure to secondhand smoke as much as possible. The benefits, by the way, to your circulation and the reduction in inflammation, they start almost immediately after quitting. It's never too late.
That's encouraging. Okay, number 4. This one is about prevention. Skipping regular health screenings. It's easy to put off doctor visits, right? Especially if you feel relatively healthy. Many men tend to avoid the doctor unless something feels seriously wrong. But you mentioned the prostate can enlarge silently, without obvious symptoms initially. Why is regular screening so critical here?
Proactive care really is preventative care in this case. Regular screenings like a digital rectal exam or DRE, and a PSA test is just a simple blood test, checking for a specific prostate protein. They're generally non-invasive, quick, and honestly, they can be life-saving. They help detect potential problems very early, often before you even notice any symptoms, or certainly before they become severe. Waiting until symptoms become unbearable, well, that allows minor issues, things that could have been managed easily, to escalate into more serious conditions, like urinary retention, where you can't pee at all, or recurring infections. Much harder to manage that.
Right. It's about catching things before they really start impacting your quality of life day to day. So what's the main takeaway for listeners on this one?
Make it a priority. See your doctor at least once a year, specifically to discuss your prostate health, especially once you're over 50 or 60, or earlier if you have risk factors. Early detection often means that simple lifestyle changes like the ones we're discussing today might be enough to manage or even reverse issues. This could potentially help you avoid needing medications with side effects or more invasive procedures like surgeries down the line. It's about staying ahead of the curve.
Good advice. And actually, this seems like a good moment to mention something helpful. There's an app called the Senior Health Tracker. It's basically a smart mobile app designed specifically for men over 60. It helps you monitor symptoms, track things like fluid intake, bathroom habits. You can even set reminders for doctor visits. It's free to try, and having that consistent data can be really useful for your doctor, makes that proactive care even more effective. We'll put a link in the description if you want to check it out.
Yeah, that sounds like a genuinely useful tool for staying on top of things.
Okay. Moving on, habit number 3, eating too much red meat. Now, for many people, red meat is a staple in their diet, but could daily consumption be silently affecting your prostate in ways beyond just, general health concerns like cholesterol? How does it tie in specifically?
There's growing evidence here. Studies clearly show a link between high intake of red meat, specifically processed varieties like bacon, sausages, deli meats, and increased levels of inflammation throughout the body. We also know the saturated fats and various chemicals, particularly those used in processing meats, can potentially disrupt hormonal balance and significantly raise that oxidative stress we talked about earlier. And if we connect this to the bigger picture for older adults, digestion often slows down a bit. This can contribute to weight gain, especially around the middle, adding more pressure in the pelvic area, all stressing the prostate. Beyond just general inflammation, some research suggests high red meat intake might elevate levels of something called IGF-1, insulin-like growth factor 1. That's a hormone directly linked to cell growth, including prostate cells, so it could be a direct contributor to enlargement.
Wow, IGF-1, that's specific. So that's a lot to consider just for something on your dinner plate. What's a balanced approach for someone who enjoys red meat? Does it mean giving it up entirely?
No, not necessarily overnight vegetarianism, but cutting red meat consumption down significantly, maybe to just once or twice a week, can make a real difference. Try consciously swapping in other lean proteins more often, things like fish, which has healthy fats, or legumes like beans and lentils, or grilled chicken or turkey, and maybe explore incorporating more fiber-rich, plant-based meals into your weekly routine. It's about shifting the balance.
Makes sense. Okay, habit number 2. This one's very visible. Carrying too much belly fat. You often hear that excess weight around the midsection isn't just about appearance. It's a major warning sign for various health issues. How strongly does it link to prostate trouble?
Very strongly. That belly fat, specifically what we call visceral fat, the fat deep inside around your organs, isn't just inert tissue sitting there. It's metabolically active. It actually produces inflammatory chemicals, cytokines, that circulate throughout your entire body. These chemicals constantly irritate the prostate and directly contribute to its growth over time. It's like a low-grade inflammatory state fueled by that fat. Studies consistently show that men with larger waistlines are significantly more likely to have an enlarged prostate. They also experience more frequent nighttime urination and even struggle more often with erectile issues.
So it's an active source of inflammation.
Yes, and beyond the chemical impact, that extra physical weight also pushes directly against your bladder, worsening pressure symptoms. Plus, it throws off critical hormone balances, particularly between testosterone and estrogen, which directly influences prostate size.
So it's a silent factory of problems right there in your midsection. What's the most effective way to start addressing this, especially for someone who might feel overwhelmed by the idea of losing weight?
Yeah, it can feel daunting. But the solution isn't about extreme diets or punishing workouts, which are often unsustainable anyway. It's really about slow, steady, sustainable improvements. Small changes add up. Things like incorporating a short daily walk, Making slightly smaller portion sizes at meals a habit. Consciously reducing sugary drinks or snacks. These things can start melting away that problematic belly fat more effectively than you might think. You'll likely be surprised how quickly even losing just a few pounds can bring noticeable relief from urinary symptoms and improve your prostate health. Aiming for a healthy waist size, generally under 40 inches for men, is a good benchmark. That's an excellent goal.
Slow and steady wins the race there. Okay, let's unpack this. We've covered 9 critical habits, each one with its own significant impact. But now we arrive at number 1.
Yep.
The habit our sources pinpoint as arguably the most insidious, a silent saboteur that many of us grapple with daily, often without connecting it directly to our physical health like this. This is the habit that the research suggests might be the most dangerous for your prostate. Chronic stress.
Yes. Chronic stress truly is a silent but powerful inflamer of the prostate. It works in several ways. When you're constantly anxious, worried, under pressure, your body releases a continuous flood of stress hormones like cortisol. This leads to widespread, low-grade inflammation throughout your body. It causes increased muscle tension, particularly in the pelvic floor. And it creates hormonal imbalances that directly affect your prostate's health and size, that pelvic muscle tension. It can restrict essential blood flow to the area and irritate the nerves around the prostate. Stress also significantly reduces your immune function, making you more vulnerable to inflammation and other issues.
And seniors often carry this quietly, don't they?
Absolutely. Seniors often carry stress quietly, maybe financial concerns, family issues, worries about their own health or a spouse's health. And the physical toll truly adds up over time, manifesting in ways like BPH and enlarged prostate.
That's such a powerful and I think often overlooked connection. So many people just sort of live with stress, but might never link it to a physical problem like prostate health. So what can listeners actively do to manage this number 1 threat? It sounds so big.
It sounds big, but the good news is you have incredible power to control its impact. It doesn't require massive life changes initially. Simple, consistent habits can make a huge difference. Things like daily deep breathing exercises, just 5 minutes. Light exercise, like that brisk walk we mentioned, is a fantastic stress reliever. Gentle stretching, even setting aside just 10 minutes a day for quiet, reflective time. Maybe meditation, maybe just sitting quietly. And don't underestimate the power of laughter. Connecting with friends, family, prioritizing good, restorative sleep. These are truly powerful medicine for your mind and, crucially, for your prostate. Making this single shift consciously managing stress might actually be the most powerful step you can take, starting today, for a healthier, calmer, and much more comfortable life down the road.
Wow. So wrapping this all up, what does all this mean for you, our listener? I mean, it really sounds like you have incredible power, more than you might think, over your prostate health. These aren't just small, vague suggestions, are they? They're powerful, often science-backed steps that could genuinely prevent months, maybe even years of discomfort and those sleepless nights. If you're over 60 or approaching it, the time to act is really now. Don't wait for symptoms to get worse. Maybe start by just changing one habit this week. Drink that extra glass of water consistently. Take that short walk every day. Say no to that extra slice of bacon or sausage. Every single action really does count.
Absolutely. Your prostate health won't change overnight, that's true. But with the right habits, adopted consistently, your body has an amazing capacity to heal and rebalance itself. Knowledge is most valuable when it's understood and, importantly, applied. By understanding these connections we've talked about today, you're truly empowering yourself to take control of your well-being for the long haul.
Well said. And just a reminder, to help you stay consistent and track your progress with making some of these changes, check out that Senior Health Tracker app we mentioned. It's designed to help monitor symptoms, fluid intake, bathroom habits, set those doctor visit reminders. It's free to try, can provide useful data for your doctor. The link is in the description. So as we finish up, what stands out to you from today's deep dive? What's one thing you heard that maybe made you think? How will you use this knowledge starting today to take better control of your prostate health for the years to come? Something to think about?